This is the MSI Force GC30 version 2 wireless gaming controller, the second edition as the name states, and I'm curious what's different from the original. More features? Better battery life? Performs better in game maybe? Anything? Or is it just a simple redress? We're gonna be taking a look at all that in this review, so let's take a closer look. So it's pretty obvious that MSI took design cues from the 360 controller. And this isn't the first time. The Xbox 360 controller is the most cloned controller on the planet. And this is the version 2. At first glance, both controllers look identical. Identical action buttons, identical sticks, identical MSI button, identical triggers, identical bumper buttons, identical, all identical. Both controllers have obvious design similarities, but there are some slight differences, and one is the rubber grip on the side. The pattern on the MSI Force GC30 is ribbed and fills the whole rubber grip, which I feel provides more stability. Now the Force GC30 V2 is more defined in the center and doesn't fill the whole grip, which I think provides more opportunity for hand slip. I also noticed the back and start buttons on the GC30 V2 seem to slightly stick up more and come to a sharper point. Now the color scheme is another noticeable difference. MSI went with a white, black, and gray color scheme for the GC30 V2 versus the black-red color scheme on the original GC30. Personally, I like the version 2's color scheme better, but which do you like? Let us know in the comments down below. I did notice one more difference, and that was the weight. MSI Force GC30 V2 is a bit heavier than its original counterpart, which makes me believe there is weight in the controller because both controllers have the same 500 milliamp battery. Both controllers charge with a micro USB wire, which is provided in the box. Also comes with an OTG Type-C to micro USB cable, a wireless USB dongle, and 2 different magnetic D-pads. Sadly, this controller doesn't support Bluetooth. The GC30 V2 is compatible with Windows 7 through 10, PS3, and Android 4.1 and above. This is the same for the original GC30. There are 3 modes on both controllers indicated by the LED lights on the front of the controller: default, analog, digital, and Android. I want to give you a heads up, sometimes these modes get a little annoying to set. Almost feels like they get stuck, or the 3-second mode button press suggested by MSI is wrong. Okay, I get it now. There are 2 different category modes, default and Android. Then there is analog and digital. If you're in digital mode when you press the MSI button to turn on the controller, you can hold the button for 3 seconds and you will enter analog mode. To get the controller into default mode, hold the MSI button till all 4 lights flash, then let it go and it will automatically enter default or Android mode. And to switch to the other mode, hold the MSI button again until the 4 lights flash. Okay, PC, it works flawlessly. Leave the controller in default mode, plug the dongle into your PC, and play away. The switches in the controller feel a little stiffer than the original GC30 and pop up a little slower than the Xbox One controller. While playing Spyro the Dragon, I didn't notice any lag, and the sticks felt precise with no delay in direction. The D-pad seems to be right on point with combinations, which is something you want to see in a fighting game like Mortal Kombat X. It has just the right amount of feedback in any direction, and the rounded octagon-shaped D-pad topper just seems to reduce thumb slip. In Doom, the analog sticks provided smooth movement, which made it easier to track enemies, and MSI claims they are improved over the original. I didn't notice much of a difference. The triggers are analog, so you can apply gradual pressure to increase or slow the car down in racing games, and the triggers are pretty similar to the Xbox One controller, but they feel a little stiffer. One last thing to note here, while playing Need for Speed Rivals, I feel like the controls on the Xbox One, especially the analog and triggers, were much tighter than the GC30. When drifting the car, the Xbox One controller just seemed to be more precise, and it seemed like I had to work much harder with the GC30 to make the drift. I was definitely missteering the corners with the MSI, and the Xbox One was making me look like a drift king. Now it gets a little tricky. When connecting the controller to Android, buttons are just not mapped correctly, or the Android setting just doesn't work at all. On my Amazon Fire tab, I was able to leave it in default mode and play Devil May Cry on Luna, although as you can see my Wi-Fi connection sucks, so it was unplayable. If a native Android game is compatible with the controller, things work fine, but I just am not entirely sure why there is an Android setting if it doesn't work on Android. Decided to test the GC30 V2 on the Nvidia Shield, a micro Android console, and when kept in default mode, the controller did work. However, if I walked just a few feet away from the Shield, it would momentarily disconnect and then reconnect, which is a little weird. It wasn't even that far. The controller can also be used with the included USB cable, and it works this way as well. Just for the hell of it, I tested it on the PS3 and it worked, which I had no doubt because it seems like a lot of these wireless controllers, especially the ones from GameSir, seem to always be compatible with the PlayStation 3.
Well, here we are again, the end of another We Deem gaming review, and I guess at this point we can all make our own assumptions. The MSI Force GC30 version 2 is a pretty good, affordable Windows gaming controller, but other than the color scheme and it weighing a little more than the original, I don't see much of a difference here. Now, I tried to take the controller apart, and to be completely honest, I'm not that great at, and I have been known to break the plastic. With that said, I stopped. I got 5 screws out and it just wouldn't pry open. I thought there was a screw in the center and turns out there wasn't, so now there's a big hole in the sticker on the back of the controller. I will say at this point, I kind of wish that the controller was compatible with the Xbox One instead of the PS3, or both. Just note that the MSI Force GC30 version 2 on Amazon is going for $60 or more due to the limited quantity. If I was you, I'd head over to the MSI website where I bought it and get it for $39.99, link in the description. If you have any questions on MSI Force GC30 version 2 or the original one, don't hesitate to leave those down in the comments below. Also consider following us on the We Deem Gaming Community Facebook group for exclusive unboxings, DIY projects, and to just show us your favorite gaming accessories. Follow us on social, and all featured product links are down below in the description. As for now, I will see you in the next one.
Hey guys, instead of staring at my ugly mug, why don't you go ahead and check out one of our other videos? 1, 2, I'll wait. My busted face ain't going nowhere.